and we're going to find Moshe.
Yes. Moshe.
Good morning,
Moshe.
David and Brad.
Good morning.
Hello.
I know it's afternoon, but good morning is fine too.
So Moshe is one of our fantastic trial attorneys. He's a personal injury attorney here in New York. He's handled multiple cases for trial. Mm-hmm. And one of the most important things you got to know when you get into a car accident is no-fault law. Okay. What is no-fault law?
Yeah, what is that all about?
What is that all about?
So no fault, and New York's not the only state who contributes to that. No fault basically says
but you're talking about New York State now, but there's no fault in almost every. Right. There's no fault in New Jersey. Every state, the laws are a little different, but we're talking about New York State no fault. But the general no fault. The idea is the same.
The idea is basically the same. Right. The idea is basically the same. Regardless of whose fault an accident is, your insurance company will indemnify you. In other words, reimburse you for any medical expenses relating to the motor vehicle accident, or lost wages, regardless, again, of whose fault the accident was.
Meaning no fault. It doesn't matter. You could have slammed into somebody. Your medical bills are still getting paid. So what's the catch? So if I slam into somebody, and let's say I hit squeeze, okay? I just ram into him from behind. Wait, let's say I'm in my car and we get into a collision from behind. That's a much better way to phrase it. So let's say that, I just saw his face. So let's say that happens. Okay, I'm in a car and we get into a collision. It's usually, in the legal term, he's going to look at me. It's called the rear end collision. And what happens now? Like, I'm at fault. My medical bills are getting paid. Squeeze is not at fault. His medical bills are getting paid. It's called no fault. So what's the catch in all of this?
So how it works is, in that hypothetical scenario, you rear-end David's squeeze.
Wait. I get into a collision with him. Okay.
Right. Yes. So your motor vehicle rear-ends David's motor vehicle, right?
Yes.
All right. So it's your fault, clearly. Right? Absent any exceptional circumstances.
Is that really true? If you run into the back of someone's car, the person who runs in the person's car,
it's always there.
Is that? I've heard that for years. Is that always true?
Here's the catch. Here's the exception. If you are cutting somebody off and then that person rear ends you, that's an exception. There's liability on the person who cut that person.
Or if it's an emergency situation.
Right. Sometimes.
Right.
Depends on the emergency.
Oh, wow. Okay,
so your insurance
no matter what.
Would cover.
But basically, you rear-end somebody, the person who's getting rear-ended is always the non-negligent party. The person who's doing the rear-ending is usually the negligent person.
So continuing, in that hypothetical scenario, Brad,
yes.
Your insurance company would cover your lost wages, if you have any, if you were forced to come out of work. Right. Anytime out of work, up to 80% of your lost wages are covered.
Right.
And your medical bills are covered, up to $50,000 generally.
So
you can always elect.
Right. So now some people can bring a lawsuit, other people can't. Who can, who can't? That's the catch.
Right. So no fault is one thing, right? Medical expenses and lost wages are one thing. Now, if you're trying to get compensated for your conscious pain and suffering, there are restrictions. In New York, you have to suffer what's called, quote unquote, serious injury. Now, serious injury is defined by the New York State. Anybody can say, I suffered a serious injury. It's not subjective. It's actually objective. And what you need to show are several things. For example, if you lost a fetus during the accident, and if you're a woman, obviously, then you automatically suffered a serious injury, which means any other injuries that stem from that loss of a fetus are automatically admissible into any evidence to claim for conscious pain and suffering. Right? Significant disfigurement is another factor. Automatically you pass threshold. A fracture of any sort, bone fracture, and you can even argue nowadays that a tooth fracture constitutes a fracture pursuant to New York State law.
So who doesn't get it? Who doesn't get it?
Minor headaches, scratches that don't form scars, cannot be compensated for conscious pain and suffering in a motor vehicle accident as a result of a scratch or minor headaches.
What about somebody who goes back to work in 30 days?
Well, that depends. So there are certain factors. If you suffered a significant limitation of your body, such as your neck or your lower back, you can go back to work after 30 days. It'll be a little bit more difficult to establish serious injury in that hypothetical scenario.
What if you go back to work before 30 days?
Go back to work the next day.
Again, it's very difficult to establish serious injury if you go immediately back to work after your accident. But here at Spar and Bernstein, we've had instances where people went back to work and we recovered money for them.
What if the doctor says stay out of work for more than 90 days and you do it?
So in New York, if you stay out of work for at least 90 days immediately after the accident, immediately after, so you can't take any breaks, you've automatically, well, not automatically, but you've arguably suffered a serious injury threshold.
All right, Moshe, tell us about a case you handled.
Quick one.
We only have about a minute.
I know, but for this reimbursement for medical, loss of wages, when do you get that money? What if I'm put out of work? I'm not getting a paycheck. When do I get that money?
So it depends on the lawyers. Lawyers have to work very quickly to get you reimbursed. The no-fault carrier will reimburse you for your lost wages. You get that usually bi-weekly. You'll get a check from your insurance company up to 80% of your lost wages.
Okay, gotcha.
All right, tell us about a quick case, and then I want to have Bernadette talk about Moshe and how happy she was to end the show. Quickly, you got about a minute.
One typical example is we had a case where there was no damage to any. You're hypothetical. Rear end and a highway, very very low speed, practically like 3-4 miles an hour. When you let go of your brakes and then you rear end somebody, that's the situation our client had. Not a single scratch to either motor vehicle. He had some herniations and bulges in his lumbar spine. Went back to work. And in a typical situation, and so he did a few months of physical therapy, one epidural injection, and right before we went to trial, the offer was $500.
$500. Squeeze.
Okay.
I know this.
And obviously,
yes.
Spar and Bernstein, we don't settle for cases that little. So what we did was we prepared for trial, and we got the jury to award us almost $160,000.
Bravo! Bravo!
Moshe, our personal injury attorney.
$500.
Kicking ass.
$160,000. There you go. There's our applause. Moshe, we gotta go, but it's the same telephone number to call Moshe for personal injury as it is to call Brad Bernstein for immigration, as it is to call Spar and Bernstein, as it is to call criminal defense, tax, and divorce. 1-800-529-5465. Save that number in your phone. Dial it right now. 1-800-529-5465. You never know when you're going to need a good attorney. You're looking at good attorneys right now. You're listening to good attorneys. 1-800-529-5465. Prior successful results do not guarantee a similar outcome. Moshe, awesome job. We got to get out of here.
Thank you so much. And thanks to USA Credit Repair for partnering.
And thank you, USA Credit Repair.